come in. Oh. Wait a moment.
As my husband widened his eyes, I followed his gaze to find a drenched girl standing there, despite the cold weather, wearing sandals and thin clothing.
Could you please give me something to eat?
Approaching me, the girl extended her trembling hand, holding a single $1 bill. My husband and I exchanged looks. At first, we changed the girl's clothes and fed her a soup with a lot of vegetables. Watching the girl happily munching on the soup, blowing on it to cool it down, we felt relieved. The girl's name was Emma, and she lived with her mother, Mary. Her mother seemed to be very busy with work and couldn't come home often, Emma explained. We grew concerned about Emma and told her she could come to our place anytime. Then Emma started coming to our house once a week, around 2 p.m. on Sundays. One day, with her backpack still on, Emma rushed in, and as instructed, my husband and I followed her to her house.
Mom, I brought them.
We cautiously peeked into the room Emma entered. This is terrible. Before us lay a cluttered entrance, with several large garbage bags scattered around, making it impossible to walk. My husband and I exchanged worried glances. After a while, a woman emerged from inside, leaning against the wall. She must be Mary, Emma's mother. Are you Emma's mother?
Yes.
Huh? As I looked at her. My name is Nancy. Together with my husband Jason, we run a restaurant. The restaurant, named Rose, was originally started by my husband's parents, but we took over it 10 years ago. Fortunately, the nostalgic flavors have gained quite a reputation, and we are bustling with regular customers every day.
Nancy. Hey.
Oh, sorry. I'll bring it right away. I startled at my husband's voice and flashed him a smile.
Take your time.
His gentle gaze and voice encouraged me. I have to stay focused. Otherwise, our daughter will scold me. I took a deep breath and carried the steaming beef stew to the patiently waiting customers with a smile. Neither my husband nor I initially planned to take over the restaurant. He was a regular office worker, and I worked as a dietitian at a hospital. Our decision to take over the restaurant was largely influenced by our daughter. My parents-in-law, at the age of 65, were actually planning to close the restaurant, but they were urged by the customers to keep it open. They also understood our feelings and entrusted us with the restaurant. Our wishes. They are for our daughter, Michelle. She was born when I was 28 years old. She was born prematurely, weighing only 1,800 grams at birth.
I hope she grows up to be as lively as a rose, brightening everyone's surroundings. And I hope she's loved by everyone like our restaurant.
With such hopes, my husband wished for our child who fought hard to live inside the incubator. Michelle, the hospital stay has been extended again. Michelle slowly but steadily grew, but her body was weak, and she went in and out of the hospital several times. We were constantly on edge with each hospital visit. Perhaps sensing our feelings, Michelle always behaved cheerfully.
When I get discharged, let's have a party at Grandpa's restaurant.
Michelle loved the omelet made by her grandpa and the cheesecake made by her grandma. She adored their restaurant and wanted to have parties there for any occasion.
Today is Grandma's birthday.
We even celebrated my parents-in-law birthdays with the customers. Michelle, who kindly cheered everyone up. We were supposed to watch her grow into an even more wonderful woman right by her side. The situation took a sudden turn when Michelle was in the winter of her 3rd grade. Since becoming a 3rd grader, Michelle's health had improved significantly, allowing her to attend elementary school. She could participate in the sports festival for the first time, and sometimes her friends would come over to play after school. Just as we were relieved that she could finally lead a normal life, one day we received a call saying Michelle had collapsed at school. We rushed to the hospital where Michelle was being transported, only to find her in the intensive care unit, connected to numerous tubes, fast asleep. She was fine this morning. Why? My husband asked the doctor anxiously.
Michelle will be okay. Right?
Both my husband and I were so panicked that we couldn't stand without the support of hospital staff. Michelle's congenital kidney condition had worsened, and the doctors informed us that she was in critical condition.
I'm sorry for worrying you. I'll get better soon. So don't worry. We have to have a discharge party as soon as possible,
Michelle said, trying to cheer us up despite clearly feeling unwell. However, the illness gradually consumed her, and 2 weeks after being hospitalized, Michelle became someone who would never return home. Until the very end, Michelle looked forward to having parties at her grandfather's shop. Rose, the namesake of Michelle, held a special place in her heart. Hence, my husband and I vehemently opposed it when my parents-in-law considered closing the shop. We wanted to preserve this place filled with memories of Michelle. They nodded with gentle smiles, understanding our feelings. Over the next 7 years, my parents-in-law imparted the essence of the shop's flavors to us. Thanks to them, Rose continues to be a beloved spot for everyone.
I'll have the omelet, please. Oh, Nancy, please display this in the shop.
One day, while taking orders, the florist 3 doors down gave us a small bouquet. Today marks Michelle's anniversary. Among the regulars, some still remember Michelle, showing such gentle gestures like this florist. It's heartwarming to know people remember Michelle. But I still can't shake off my regrets. If only I had given birth to a healthier child. Inside the closed shop, I gaze at the flowers from the florist, tears welling up. In the empty shop, I sometimes find myself crying, reminiscing about Michelle. My husband comforted me, patting my back gently whenever I felt down.
No one's to blame. It's been 23 years. And people other than our family still remember Michelle. That makes me happy. It's probably thanks to this shop.
23 years. As I look around the shop, it's well maintained, but being 50 years old, it still carries the weight of its age. We're already 59. How long can we protect this place Michelle loved so much?
Nancy? What's wrong?
Oh, it's nothing. Thank you, I replied, vaguely feeling anxious about the passage of time but not wanting to worry my husband further by articulating it. On a day of heavy rain, with few customers, the shop was unusually quiet, the sound of rain outside resonating clearly.
Since there aren't many customers today, Nancy, you can take a break in the back.
My husband said kindly to me as I started cleaning around. Thank you, but I feel like doing something with my hands. Just then, the door of the shop opened.
Excuse me.
Welcome. Oh, wait a minute.
My husband's eyes widened as he looked ahead, where a shivering girl stood, despite the cold, wearing sandals and drenched from head to toe. Just wait a moment. I'll get a towel right now. I hurried to the back room and fetched a bath towel. It must have been cold. You'll be okay now.
Could you give me something to eat?
The girl extended her trembling hand as I approached, with a single $1 bill in it. My husband and I exchanged glances.
Nancy, do we have any clothes that might fit her?
Oh, I think Michelle's pajamas are upstairs. Come on, let's change you out of these wet clothes for now, to avoid catching a cold. Wrapping the drenched girl in a bath towel, I led her upstairs. Though currently unused, the second floor of the shop used to be where my parents-in-law lived until 3 years ago. Michelle, who adored her grandparents, always kept her pajamas with them, so she could stay over anytime. They had kept her pajamas neatly stored all this time. Oh, it fits perfectly. The pattern might be a bit outdated, but please forgive us. I worried a bit that she might dislike the outdated pattern from 23 years ago, but the girl seemed genuinely happy wearing the pajamas. And, she seemed a bit relieved, quietly thanking us. When we went back downstairs, my husband, seeing the girl in Michelle's pajamas, widened his eyes.
It suits you. Yeah. It suits you. Oh. Just wait a moment. I'll make something to warm you up.
My husband started happily chopping onions. Perhaps feeling a resemblance to Michelle in the girl, my husband occasionally gave her gentle glances.
Be careful. It's hot.
After a while, my husband brought a hearty soup.
Wow, it looks delicious.
The girl's face lit up brightly. Watching her happily slurp the soup while blowing on it, we couldn't help but smile.
I'm full. Thank you for the meal.
The girl, finishing her meal, politely clasped her hands. Hey, can I ask your name?
I'm Emma.
Emma. My husband and I exchanged glances, noticing her speech bore a resemblance to Michelle's. Further inquiry revealed Emma was 8 years old, the same age Michelle was when she passed away. That's why Michelle's pajamas fit her perfectly. Michelle was this small. The thought of Michelle brought tears to my eyes involuntarily. At the same time, I wondered why such a young child had come alone to our house in the heavy rain. Can we ask about your home, Emma? Timidly asking, Emma nodded and began to speak. She lives with her mother, Mary, just the two of them. Her mother seems to be very busy with work and can't come home often. What does your mom do for work?
Cleaning and making bento boxes.
It seems her mother doesn't have a regular job. Does she usually make dinner for you?
Usually, she leaves sandwiches or noodles for me. But today, there was nothing. I think Mom was really busy. So, I thought I'd buy something to eat for $1, but the rain was too strong.
Unable to reach the supermarket, Emma happened to find our shop and came in as if guided. It was evident from her speech that Emma loves her mother dearly. Although I had never met her mother, it was clear from Emma's words that her mother was desperately raising her. As a single mother, this mother and daughter probably have no one else to rely on. What should we do? My husband and I fell into silence for a while. Sensing our discomfort, Emma stood up.
Thank you so much today. The soup was delicious and made me feel better. I know $1 isn't enough, but I'm sorry.
Saying this, she offered $1.
It's okay. You don't need to pay.
My husband said. We refused to take the money, but Emma seemed uneasy without paying even a little.
Then, I'll take the $1. Thank you. If you'd like, would you come back to eat with us again? Of course. You don't need to pay.
My husband offered.
Huh, really? Eating without paying at a restaurant.
Emma mumbled, looking down. Emma, never pessimistic about her situation, tried to maintain manners. Despite being 8 years old, Emma's mature demeanor made me worry. Our daughter passed away when she was 8. Her name was Michelle. She looked a bit like you. As Emma listened to my story, she lifted her head. Watching you reminds me of Michelle, and it makes me happy. So, would you come back to our place? We'd love to talk with you more, Emma. When our eyes met and I smiled at her, she finally returned a soft smile. You can return the umbrella next time you come. Take care on your way home. As the rain eased up, we escorted Emma out. She looked back several times, waving her hand each time.
Excuse me.
From then on, Emma started coming to our place once a week, on Sundays, a little after 2 p.m.
What dish is this?
It's gratin.
I love gratin. My cheeks are going to fall off.
Emma rejoiced at her first taste of gratin. As a registered dietitian, I made sure to provide Emma with well-balanced meals, using my knowledge to the fullest. Thanks to that, Emma's complexion gradually improved. Thank you, Jason and Nancy. After finishing her meal, she always left some coins behind.
It's okay. We're just using up leftover ingredients.
My husband would say. Despite our repeated assurances that she didn't need to pay, Emma would leave coins on the table every time. She's such a polite and responsible child. Sometimes, I admired her for it, and other times, seeing her jump with joy after eating the cheesecake for dessert, I couldn't help but feel happy that she was just an 8-year-old girl after all. Emma gradually started sharing more about school with us.
We practiced doing backflips in PE, but I couldn't do it at all.
Want to practice at the park later?
Yes.
Emma's eyes sparkled. Come to think of it, Michelle struggled with backflips too. We used to practice at the park during the shop's break time. But suddenly, she could do it one day. I think she said a friend taught her. Memories from the past resurfaced. As we talked with Emma, we increasingly felt Michelle's presence in her. So, we wanted nothing but happiness for her. However, it seemed her mother still wasn't coming home much. Isn't it worrying to leave an 8-year-old alone, no matter how busy she is with work?
We don't even know what kind of work she does. But it's not right to pry into her family's affairs. Especially with Emma.
My husband replied. We could only watch over Emma when she came on Sundays, spending restless days filled with concern. One day, during lunchtime, despite it being a weekday and lunchtime almost ending, Emma rushed into the shop looking extremely distressed. What's wrong, Emma? Coming back from school? Emma, still wearing her backpack, was breathing heavily, shaking her head.
Mom. Mom.
Hold on, Emma. My husband said, offering her a glass of water. I helped Emma take a few deep breaths to calm down and slowly drink some water. What happened to your mom?
My mom. She can't stop coughing, and it's really bad. She said to call someone.
Emma seemed on the verge of tears, so I hugged her gently. Okay, it's all right. Emma, can you show us the way to your house?
Yeah.
I signaled to my husband, who quickly checked the time and began taking off his apron.
I'll come too. The customers have just left. And lunchtime is over.
He said, hanging the closed sign on the door.
This way.
Following Emma, we hurried to her house. We were led to a 2-story dilapidated apartment by Emma. Without hesitation, Emma opened the door to room 101.
Mom, I brought them.
We cautiously peeked into the room Emma entered. This is terrible. In front of us lay a cluttered entrance with several large garbage bags strewn about, leaving no space to step. My husband and I exchanged worried looks, furrowing our brows. After a while, a woman emerged from inside, leaning against the wall as she shuffled out. She was likely Emma's mother, Mary.
Sorry. Cough. Cough.
As I reached out to pat the coughing woman's back, I recoiled. Her body felt feverish, and even to an amateur, her condition seemed severe. Are you Emma's mother?
Yes. I'm sorry. My cold. Cough. Cough.
Mary, your condition seems dangerous as it is. I'll call for an ambulance.
My husband said, dialing immediately to request an ambulance. Do you have your insurance card?
It's in the top drawer of the dresser.
I struggled through the garbage bags and managed to enter the room. The interior was equally distressing. The sink was full of used dishes, there was a mountain of laundry beside the bed, and on the desk lay empty lunch containers and bottles. Emma diligently gathered the garbage from the bags. Emma, your mom is going to the hospital soon, I said, finding the insurance card as instructed from the top drawer of the dresser. The ambulance arrived promptly, and the paramedics carried Mary out of the house. I'll go with her.
That's a good idea. Stay with Emma. I'll manage the shop.
My husband said. I accompanied Emma into the ambulance, deciding to go to the hospital with them. The test results revealed that Mary had developed pneumonia due to a severe cold, and she had to be hospitalized for about a week. Thanks to the medication, her cough subsided, and Mary slept peacefully with a gentle wheeze. She must have been unable to sleep for a long time. "Emma, the doctor will take care of Mom, so don't worry. Would you like to come to Auntie's house until Mom is discharged?" I addressed Emma, who was anxiously watching her mother.
Huh? Is it okay?
Emma asked. "Of course. I'm sure Mom will feel more at ease resting if you're with us. She'll get better soon." I reassured her.
Thank you.
Emma squeezed my hand tightly. She must have been quite anxious. "Emma, when you're in trouble, like today, you can always say, 'Help.' People around you will lend a hand. Never hesitate," I advised her.
Yeah.
Emma squeezed my hand again firmly. The next day, since it was our day off at the shop, my husband and I took Emma to visit Mary. Mary was awake by then. Emma eagerly ran to her.
Emma, I'm sorry for the trouble I caused you.
Mary gently embraced Emma and then turned to us, kneeling on the bed with her head bowed.
Thank you so much. For Emma. And for everything, even though we're not family.
Mary's voice choked with tears. "Mary, look up. And remember, even if we're not family, you can rely on us," I assured her. Upon hearing my words, Mary raised her tearful face.
Mom, Nancy's house has a parrot, and it said, 'I love you.'"
Mary smiled gently as she watched Emma happily talk about our parrot. "May I ask about Mary's situation at home?"
Sure. I'm a single mother.
Mary started to talk. She's 31 years old. She had Emma when she was 23, but she didn't register with the man who became the father at the time.
He and I, along with a friend, just started a restaurant. He said we'd get married once the restaurant got on track.
She thought he was considering not burdening the child with debt. But a year later, when they had a decent number of customers and were repaying the debt as planned, he disappeared suddenly, taking a large sum of money from the restaurant.
Both my friend and I were shocked. His phone was disconnected. Since he said he grew up in foster care without parents, I knew nothing about his relatives.
Furthermore, her friend said, "I can't take it anymore," and quit the restaurant, leaving Mary to manage it alone.
I had to somehow repay the debt. I was standing at the store with Emma on my back, but I couldn't run the store alone, and eventually had to close it down.
After that, Mary had to work desperately to repay the debt. But she only graduated from high school and had a small child. There was nowhere that would hire her as a regular employee.
I've done day labor jobs too. I just thought I had to work whenever I had time. Now, I work as a temporary worker doing cleaning during the day, and part-time at a delicatessen or convenience store at night.
She spent a little time with Emma in the evening, then went back to work. And she would return home either in the early morning, before Emma woke up, or after Emma left for the day.
Emma told me about the kindness you've shown us. Thank you so much. I wanted to express my gratitude, but I couldn't muster the courage to show my face.
Really?
I thought I might be scolded for not taking care of my child properly. It's true, I couldn't take care of Emma properly, and ended up collapsing. I'm a failure as a parent.
Beside the bowed Mary, Emma was diligently doing her homework. Seeing the name, Emma, written there, I was taken aback. "Mary, you were 31, right?"
Yes.
"Do you happen to remember a girl named Michelle? Back in 3rd grade, she used to tie her hair in 2 knots. Mary pondered for a moment, then lifted her head suddenly.
Michelle, I remember. Wait, Nancy, are you parents of Michelle?
I felt delighted and nodded, taking Mary's hand. I always felt Emma and Michelle resembled each other somehow, but never imagined Mary, you're Mary, Michelle's friend. Mary's name was frequently mentioned by Michelle. A versatile athlete, Mary chased after groups of playful boys. And she mentioned how Mary accompanied her during lunch breaks to practice cartwheels, enabling Michelle to master them. Michelle often envied Mary's energetic and reliable nature. With my talk, Mary shook her head.
Oh no, it was actually me who admired Michelle. She was so genuine, able to easily slip into anyone's heart.
Huh?
I always got scolded by teachers for not being girly enough. Some kids even distanced themselves, warned not to play with the one scolded by teachers.
Clearly, it was a bitter memory for Mary as she bit her lip.
But Michelle said she admired, Mary, I like you very much because you're stronger and kinder than anyone. I want to be like her. Her words saved me.
That Michelle said such things. I had only heard that Mary was like a hero from Michelle's perspective. I never knew such an exchange occurred between them. Learning from each other and experiencing various emotions through their friendship, Michelle lived each day fully. Discovering this new facet of Michelle, we felt elated.
With me being like this, Michelle up there in heaven must be disappointed. I need to do better.
At this moment, my husband, who had been silent until then, sensitively reacted to Mary's words.
You're right. Michelle might be disappointed if things stay this way.
Come on, Jason. I couldn't understand why he would say such things to Michelle, who was weakened by illness, and glared at my husband. Ignoring my gaze, my husband looked straight at Mary as he spoke.
If you keep trying to handle everything alone from now on, I think Michelle would be disappointed. Mary, you're doing your best. Working so hard alone, carrying debts for Emma's sake.
As Mary shed tears upon hearing my husband's words, he offered her a handkerchief and continued.
But you know, when you're in trouble, it's okay to say help, because someone will definitely come to your aid. Maybe that's what Mary admired about Michelle?
Mary nodded repeatedly, crying profusely. Michelle, who had been frail since childhood and relied on a lot of help from those around her, understood her limitations well and was indeed skilled at seeking help from others. It somehow made sense to me why Mary, who had always done everything by herself, admired Michelle.
Mom, Nancy told me that I can say, help too. It's definitely not good to endure everything.
Emma gently patted Mary's head as she cried.
You're right. It's not good to endure.
Mary returned the gentle pat on Emma's head. Then she looked at us and said,
I don't think continuing to live like this is a good idea. But becoming a full-time employee is difficult for me. Could you help me?
From Mary's earnest gaze, I felt once again the strong desire to help this mother and daughter.
Mary, you used to run a restaurant, right? Are you interested in cooking?
Yes. I enjoy seeing the happy faces of customers when they're full.
My husband nodded as he looked at me.
We run a restaurant. How about working and living here with us?
What?
Mary was so surprised by the sudden proposal that she couldn't even speak.
What does living here mean?
Emma, remember when you first came to our place and changed upstairs? Well, nobody lives there now, so I thought maybe you and Mom could live there. And Mom could work at our restaurant.
Wow! So, Mom, I can see you anytime while you're working?
Emma bounced around happily.
Is it really okay?
It's a bit old-fashioned, but we've been cleaning it regularly, so I think it's livable. The salary isn't that high, but you won't have to pay rent, and you'll get meals during the day and night. That should be enough for a decent living.
My husband smiled kindly at Mary.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mary bowed her head repeatedly.
You could ask for help properly. I'm sure Michelle is happy in heaven.
Yes.
Mary lifted her tear-streaked face and smiled. A week later, Mary was discharged from the hospital safely and moved upstairs to the shop.
I hope you'll gradually get used to work. We don't do overtime here. Family time is the most important. If you have any trouble, just let us know. That's our workplace policy.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Mary's cheerful voice echoed through the shop. With her experience in the food and beverage industry, she was skilled in cooking and quickly learned the job. Moreover, she was good at accounting and became a valuable asset right away.
You're lucky to have such a capable successor.
Regular customers expressed their joy at the birth of a successor.
I'd be happy if it turns out that way. But it's ultimately up to Mary to decide.
If it's okay with me, I'll work even harder. I want to repay you all for your kindness in this shop.
Her resolute answer brought smiles to both my and my husband's faces.
I'm home.
Welcome back, Emma.
Every day, Mary and we, a couple, welcome Emma back from school. Emma secretly told us that being greeted with, "Welcome back," makes her incredibly happy. We've come to realize how spending time together as a family brings so much joy. Thanks to Mary and Emma, the shop has become an even livelier place. Emma, could you bring some water?
Sure.
Emma helps out too. Thanks to her, I no longer feel overwhelmed by the loneliness I felt after losing Michelle. I believe it's because of her that I can truly cherish this place filled with memories of Michelle. Ah, the weather is so nice. Maybe I should air out the laundry. On a warm and gentle day bathed in sunlight, the phone at home rang. It was from Emma.
Hey, Nancy, can you come to the shop at 11? Let's practice cartwheels in the park.
Sure thing. See you later then. Emma has become very attached to us as a couple. We already see Emma as our true grandchild. Since my husband had errands to run from the morning, I headed to the shop alone. Upon arrival, I noticed a sign on the door that read, "Party Today," written in Emma's handwriting. Quietly, I opened the door.
Happy birthday, Nancy.
Emma's voice was accompanied by thunderous applause. Inside the shop, my husband, Mary, and Emma stood there smiling. The interior was adorned with balloons and decorations, and the tables were filled with delicious dishes. I've never had my birthday celebrated like this, and tears welled up in my eyes.
Nancy, thank you for always being kind to me and Mom. Please continue to be good to us forever and ever.
Emma read the letter and gave me a bouquet of pink roses. It was from her. Mary and she went to prepare early in the morning. The small flowers gathered, brightening the surroundings with vibrant pink, cheerful roses. Emma says we've helped her, but we've been helped a lot by Emma and Mary too. Emma, thank you for trusting me. And Emma and Mary, thank you for coming to our home. Jason, thank you for always supporting us. And Michelle, thank you for bringing us together with Mary. I expressed my gratitude to each one who hasn't always been conveyed.
Well, let's enjoy it while it's warm. Cheers.
My husband, looking a bit bashful, led the toast. I feel incredibly happy seeing everyone's smiles. We've created new precious memories at this rose.